Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one, welcome all. Oh, welcome all ye geeks. Welcome to Minis-N-Muscles. It's Friday. It's about that time. It's live stream time. You are welcome to the place where the brawn meets the brush. We are here yet again, episode 15 of the live streams, to say hello and continue our journey in the artisan world of painting miniatures and making all things fantastic. When you don't need to be a pro, when you don't need pro things, you don't need to spend a fortune on all this really expensive stuff, but you can still walk away with something that is more than adequate for tabletop standard and looks pretty darn good. Every week, as we do, we paint miniatures, we offer tips and tricks, we talk about lots of geeky things from retro computer games all the way through to Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, anything and everything really. I'll talk about anything. I'll natter on about absolutely the world's amount of different things. But this week we are here and we are continuing our journey, because last week, if we remember, we finished our ghost dragon. Oh darn it, he's sat over there and I didn't get him. Right, let me get him, hold on. So here he is, the ghost dragon. I'll tuck myself back in at my chair. The ghost dragon, we finished him. Look at that beauty. Doesn't he look awesome? And the big old wings at the back. You can't really appreciate the wings. They're kind of see-through-y, but you can't see it through this camera. It's a bit rubbishy, but I can assure you they are there. So we finished our ghost dragon. So he is done. He is dusted. He can sit on the side there, on the proud place of my shelf. He will possibly join a Dungeons and Dragons game at some point. Who's to know? But last week, we then decided, after finishing the Ghost Dragon, that we would do a little bit of a kit bash, a little bit of a custom build on some Warhammer this time. So that was kind of Dungeons and Dragons focused fantasy realm, which we all love. And we decided to shift over to the world of 40k. So the 40, was it, did they say the 41st millennium or whatever they call it? I think so, something like that. And we're going to paint a tank, a Sisters of Battle tank from my army. I'm building out a Sisters of Battle army, and I just had a load of things up last week, and I said, do we paint this, do we paint this? And the tank was something that was chosen. So here is our tank. Let's do up the back door. Here is our tank as we can see it now. So there's the front. We've moved our gunner. So last week we had some suggestions in chat about moving the gunner from the front, because she did sit in this secondary gap here that I've now filled, and we've moved her, that side, to the back. So we've done that. I've done that in the downtime just because that was a bit of a pain in the bum and lots of drilling and things like that, which is particularly loud and I didn't think that was particularly good for a stream. So we've moved her across to the back, but we will continue everything else with the tank. So what did I do? I ordered this, what's it called? What do you call one when you get one of these? Jesus, base. That's the word I was looking for. Come on, Steve. So we've got a base going. I think this is a bit too small because when we get the tank and we put it on top, it does sit on there fine. Maybe it does look good because it's a sort of angle going over some rocks, which we could put some bodies on. But it's a little bit small. And I'm also a bit peeved, right? I ordered this from eBay. And it's wonky. I've already tried to heat it up to bend it flat again. But I might have to do that. I might have to heat it up and bend it flat and just have it under some books or something for overnight, 24 hours perhaps. Because it keeps on bending back up. So that's really annoyed me. I won't highlight the seller, but yes, they weren't very good. So but look at the base. It has got a little bit of detail on, so we've got some skulls on there and some rocks. I thought that was pretty cool and in keeping, because last week when we spoke about customising miniature, I was going through my little tray and picking out bits and bobs. We found things like this little orc. So I thought, well, with that and a couple of little orcs heads and stuff, plus the skulls on here, I thought that would sit quite well. So I thought, okay, that will do. So we got that. I have primed up all the rest of the bits and bobs. So we also picked out some other things to go on our tank. We picked out some flags. We picked out a little ammo crate. Things like that to go on the tank. They're all black. We also picked out 2 little arms. This actually comes off of a dreadnought. So they were spares that way, off of a dreadnought. And there's like a sort of chain sword and I don't even know what that is. It's like a grippy hand thing. But yes, we picked up those and I thought, great, they can fit on the front. So the other thing I did, purely because I wanted the green stuff to set, is I've filled in the gaps on the side. So on the Rhino this side and that side there was like an indent. I filled that with green stuff, sanded it down, painted it over. So they are ready now for us to mount the sort of sidearm attachments. These won't have anything to do with in-game mechanics when I play with this tank in my Warhammer army. It will purely be for aesthetic. What else did we find in the bits box? Well, we found these 2 items here. So these are going to be flamethrowers. They look pretty good, but they were actually legs off of something. They should go that way, and they're legs off of some robot I got ages ago. It might be another dreadnought, actually. But yeah, we're going to use those. I drilled out the ends, so I've now got them looking sort of flamethrower-ish. So they will be on the front, and they will mount in this place here. So where we took the gunner and we put her to the rear, the flamethrowers are now going to be mounted on the front. The other things I did get, so we talked about sort of jazzing it up and making it sort of a cool looking item. Now, Sisters of Battle have a few different tanks and things like that. I'm just going to find the name of it because I forget. But they do have a few tanks. So you have the Exorcist, you have the Rhino, but the one I really wanted, I thought would be quite cool because of the flamers is, and let me find it, is it the Devastator? No, it's not that one. What is it? It is the Immolator, not the Devastator, the Immolator. So the Sisters of Battle have a tank called the Immolator. And I thought, right, okay, this could be our Immolator, because I don't own an Immolator model, right? So I do have a Rhino, I do have the Exorcist, but I don't have the Immolator. So we're going to put the flamethrowers on, because the Immolator has flamethrowers. I've also ordered, which I'm waiting for, like a small miniature stained glass window. That's going to be epic. Very Sisters of Battle. That's going to go onto the back here, and stood in front of that is going to be a very special mini. So, after the live stream last week, we discussed in the live stream that it would be cool if Steve at Minis-N-Muscles was riding this tank, and he was, surfing the tank as he goes along, and sort of screaming out his religious rapture. So I went onto a place called Hero Forge. Hero Forge, by the way, I'm not sponsored by them, all right? I'm just mentioning it because they're quite cool. Hero Forge is a place where you can create your own miniatures. So you can go online and you can choose the race, the gender. You can choose absolutely everything about your character: hair, muscular size, clothing, weapons, all of that stuff you can choose and just add it into your miniature. I was like, oh, that's brilliant, fantastic, I'll do that. Started building out Steve, as in me, at Minis-N-Muscles, as a Ministorian priest, which is quite interesting. So I have got that file in an STL. I was going to order the miniature, but 50 quid later, I was like, I'm not paying $50 plus getting it shipped over here as well, which will take weeks. I thought, right, I will just get the STL file and I will get it printed somewhere. So I now have the STL file for our Steve Muscles and Minis-N-Muscles. I will print off that miniature and we will attach him to our tank at some point. So, whew, what an intro, what a first 10 minutes. I'm sweating already. I shall have a drink whilst we see who's in chat. We've got a few people hanging around in chat. No one's chatting in chat, I don't think. Oh no, Honey Ann is chatting in chat. Apologies, I did not see your message, so I'm just going to message back to you. Hi Honey Ann, how you doing? Hope all is well. So how was your Friday, people? Or in fact, how was your week? How was your week? What's been going on? If you're just joining us, thank you for joining in. As always, appreciate you, love you. We've just sort of had a quick wrap up of last week and where we got to with the customization build of our Rhino tank, which is now going to be an immolator tank for my Sisters of Battle army. I'm just looking at this base, actually. It's got even worse as I sat here. It's got even more bent. It's ridiculous. I don't know if you can quite see this, but it's bent as a 9-bob note. It's awful. I'm rather peed at that, and I have undercoated it, so now I probably can't send it back. Darn. But what are we going to go through today? Well, today, because last week we did not finish our conversation on our sort of geeky movies, and there was a few things I did want to talk about, so I thought, right, all right, we'll carry on a little bit of that. I will give you an update on my latest Warhammer game that was last week. So I had another game of Warhammer, so I'm slowly learning. And also, D&D as well, because I had D&D yesterday, so I host a group of friends over at my house for a Dungeons and Dragons session where I Dungeon Master, and we had a very interesting, fun session, so we'll chat about that as well. As usual, because this is the place where the brawn meets the brush, we will talk about fitness as well, so we'll have, just licking my brush, we will have a muscle moment, and today's muscle moment is going to be a pet peeve of mine, gym clothing. Right, we'll say no more about that until we get to the lesson, the session, sorry, at that point, about halfway through the show, where I chat and bore everybody to death about fitness. But it wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't have a little bit of element of fitness, right? There, introduction done, I think. Yes, we've spoken about all the bits and bobs. I've got a coffee here. I've got a Pepsi kind of thing here. I've got my water. I've got some fresh water. Yes, my pot looks dirty, but it is fresh water. I've got a lovely fresh wet palette ready to rock. Just going to straighten that paper out, actually. It's very bumpy. So I am ready to go. However, I don't think we're going to start with paint just yet, so I might as well put that lid back on there for now. Just because we ain't going to be painting straight away. We're going to be gluing, so let's get me glue ready. I will take that glue. So I've got, I just use, generally speaking, the Citadel plastic glue that you can get from the Warhammer store. There's loads of others, but to be fair, and they're probably a lot cheaper. This is not the cheapest. It's about, is it about 5 or 6 quid for a little bottle like this? But it is pretty good, to be fair. I have used some others and it's just not very good. But this is plastic glue. So this will only really work on plastics, sometimes resins, if you're lucky. But not really. But it is very good for plastics. So plastic miniatures, spot on. Yeah, so we'll be using that. I might need to grab some super glue. We spoke about it before. I just use the cheapest super glue I can find, usually from like the pound shop type thing. Grab a pack of those. It's like 5 of these little tubes for a quid. So I use that as well. More than good enough. Right, so I've got my glues out. I have got my sculpting tools. So I do have a couple of sculpting tools. I've got this. I actually broke the blade last week, but this is just like a razor blade. You can see where it's slightly broken there, and you can just use it for slicing and splicing. It's really, really good. I love this little tool. I have also on this side a small file. I do also have some sandpaper somewhere. I did grab out some sandpaper just in case I needed it, but it looks like I've put it somewhere and forgotten. Then for green stuff and for sort of other plastic cuttings, I have these. So these are 3 little metal tools that I use for that way, there you go, that I use for green stuff, sort of moulding and smoothing and changing the lines of things, and also for cutting as well. So they are pretty sharp, so I use these for cutting plastic. So if I'm sort of sculpting around something, I'll just cut round with those. Yeah, so we're all good and ready to go. The other thing that we got on our tank then, so let's go back to our tank and have a quick look at what we got to do. Right, I have this lady in the back now, so let's, in fact, we can switch cameras, can't we? Come on, Steve, get with it. Boof. Alrighty. So, let's bring our lady in here. So, there's the front of the tank. As you can see, I've covered the hole, sanded it down, covered the hole. Now that's black. This is where the flamers are going to go. So these are going to be our flamers. They're pretty big, but they're quite cool. They're quite good. They look cool, and they do move as well. They move up and down. So they're going to go on here on this side. The hole is going to be covered by the weapon choice, which is called the Hunter Killer Missile. So that will go there. You've got then your two flamers that come in here and sit side by side. That's kind of how it's going to look. But before we do those, I want to go around the front here, and where we've got this side panel covered, I want to attach these arms. This is what I want to do first, alright? So let's just get me light at a bit of a better angle, just so I can actually see what I'm doing. We're going to probably have to use, it is plastic, but because it's going under green stuff, I'm not sure whether this will stick, but we'll try. I try to use plastic glue and things like this where I can, purely because it seems to be, when it fixes, it seems to be a lot more durable than super glue. Super glue will stick fast, but you tend to get a very brittle stick, whereas this plastic glue seems to be quite forgiving. So if you do bash it or whatever, it seems to have a little bit of strength behind it. So we'll stick a load of glue over here, and we'll do the same on this one, and we'll let it dry. So again, my chatteroo peoples, how are we? How are we? How was our week? Tell me all about it. We are up to 87 subscribers, by the way. I forgot to say. 87! Come on! I was well happy with that. If I can get an extra person every week, that's not bad. Well, we'd need more than one every week, won't we? Because otherwise it would take forever to get to 100. We've got 13 more to get to 100. That's quite a long way. Don't want to wait 13 weeks. So come on, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your dad. Just say, look, do my mate a favour, would you? Just subscribe to this channel. You don't have to watch it. They can if they want. But just subscribe to the channel. Help my mate out. Come on, it would be really good, please. As I take a sip of my coffee. Coffee black, by the way, Americano. There's no other way to drink coffee, I don't think. People will disagree with me, but it is the only way. How do you drink your coffees, chat? Come on, drop it in, tell me. If you're not going to tell me how your week's been, at least tell me what coffee you drink. Also, I check these arms for the glue. So you can see the glue's starting to get a little bit tacky here now. So the chances are, you can see the little bits of strafes and strands that come off. We might be able to attach these. So they're going to go at a slight angle. And we might have to even do a little bit of filling with our green stuff around the edges. It's quite possible. I just want to make sure that these sort of line up right, though. That looks about right, does it? See, I didn't quite smooth this left-hand side off. So this left-hand side here, didn't quite smooth that off right. But they seem to be sticking, so I just want to bring that forward. Oh, it's quite a heavy arm, you see, so we're going to have to find something to prop him up. I reckon that will do. There we go. Right. So, just in case you can't see, where's my... Let's go to mobile cam. Phone cam, go. So here we are. We've got the what's it called? Tank. We've got the tank right here, and I've just kit bashed these arms on. So you've got this crazy chainsaw on that side, and you've got this dreadnought claw on that side. So I'm just using the paint pot, actually, well, it's a green stuff pot, but paint pot, just to prop it up because it's quite a heavy arm. So just to give it a little bit of support. But yeah, there it is. You can see at the back there, well, the front, sorry, where we've filled the hole, and you can see the back where this lady is. A bit of a bodge job there. It didn't go in very well actually when we cut her in, so I was a bit gutted about that. But still cool. Oh, what we got? We got some chat coming through. All coffee is good coffee. Strawberry lime, yeah. All coffee is good coffee, really? Let's just change camera so I don't have to hold this the whole time. Let's go to front cam. All coffee is good coffee. Strawberry lime. Me and you got to have a chat about this. All coffee is not good coffee. Come on. That's like, you know, some people that have a mug of milk with a shot of coffee. That's not coffee. That's just weird. Have it proper. Black coffee, the best. But lovely to have you on board this evening, Strawberry Lime. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Honey Ann is saying, work has been busy and I'm watching the clock. It's almost the end of the day. Ah, yes, Honey Ann, you're Florida. So yeah, you are a few hours behind us. So come on. You got what, half hour left? Come on, you can do this. I drink my coffee mostly black. I usually add a splash of cream. Ah, see, Americans do things slightly differently. So we have, look at this, Minis-N-Muscles. We've got viewers across the globe. When I check my stats, actually, for subscribers, we've got people in the US, in the UK, Germany, and somewhere else. It was somewhere really mad, like Australia or somewhere really random. But yes, Americans have creamer. It's okay, but sometimes it's quite calorific, isn't it, the old creamer? Full of sugars, it can be. Strawberry Lime is saying, if it's a long day, then black coffee, otherwise usually a cappuccino. What coffee isn't good coffee? If you want me to get technical, I'll get technical. Well, no, you don't have to get technical. Yeah, not at all, Strawberry Lime. You just have to remember that the ultimate is black coffee. You don't have to be tired to drink black coffee. You just drink it because it's nice, right? It's like 7:30 in the night and I'm drinking black coffee. Ah, lovely. Yummy. Right. So back to our tank and not too much talk on coffee. Whilst we're getting these little arms to set on the side of our tank, I need to really work out how I'm going to sort this. This is going to be a problem. This is the base, right? You can't get massive bases. I couldn't find ones that were bigger than this, really. I don't know, maybe people know ones that are bigger than 120mm by 92mm. So if you do, let me know. But I found this one. It's got some skulls on it. So it's got some skulls and 2 little rocks. But I thought it would be quite cool because it would look good. Because we're going to run over some orcs. We'll see how that works out. We'll see. I might have to do a little bit because you've got rocks on the same side. So it means that the tank is going to be up on one side. Not that that's a problem, maybe. Maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing because we can slide the orc bodies underneath. And they can sit underneath and then the tank will go over the top. Yeah. Alright, but the bendiness, that's annoying the crap out of me. But I have got a heat gun over there that I might have to get out and use. Whilst that's drying, actually, we could probably start painting that base because it's like a dried mud effect that's on the base. So let's move our Tankus Maximus out the way. And let's just go across to our paint kit. Open up the old white palette. Let's do a bit of painting. Get the big fat brush. Lick the end because that's what I do because I'm weird. Yeah, you can all shout at me later for poisoning myself. So, Honey, I said, no, I mean actual cream, like heavy cream. Oh, okay, not creamer. Apologies, you mean, yeah, you mean cream as in actual cream, double cream. In the UK, we call it double cream. Yeah, so that has, although it's got a higher fat content, it's meant to be fairly good. So who's to say? I was going to ask what cream meant in the US. Yeah, yeah, I thought it was creamer because that's quite a lot of places. And Honey Ann, correct me if I'm wrong, but quite a lot of places where you go in the US just automatically throw, they throw creamer into your drink, into your coffee. And creamer's, it's like a, I don't know what it is actually, but it's like a very thick sort of syrup, and it's generally in a pump. And you just pump it out, and you just have like one pump or two pumps into your coffee, which works like milk. It's probably some condensed milk type thing, but it's super high in sugar, so it's not particularly good for the old body. But hey, you know, c'est la vie. Sometimes you've got to have naughty things, right? So let's switch across to our camera here, because we're going to start on this base. Let's really zoom out a little bit. There we go. Just to give us a bit more perspective. So, talking of, although we're going to go into our tank, we'll talk lots about Warhammer tank and things like that. I thought I'd do a quick recap on my Warhammer game whilst we're painting. So, as you guys know, I've been trying to learn Warhammer, right? By the way, I'm not putting this into my wet palette because this is a technical paint. This is a technical Sterling Mud. You could thin it down with your wet palette, but I'm not going to. I just want to apply this across just to see how it looks. It has got like little bits in, so it does look pretty cool. I don't want to slap it everywhere. I want to try and give like this black undertone effect by just leaving the cracks as they are, but we'll see. We'll see how that looks. But yeah, for Warhammer game last weekend. So it was me and my buddy who was playing. So I was playing my Sisters of Battle, and my buddy was playing Grey Knights. We teamed up against another mate of ours who had Necrons. So, for those that aren't familiar with the Warhammer world, Necrons are like futuristic, like they look like Terminator 2 robots. Then you've got Sisters of Battle, obviously. You all know of those because I've been talking about them, but nuns with guns. They're kick-ass. And then you've got Grey Knights, which are a faction of Space Marines. And they're quite sort of heavy on the psychic abilities and slaying demons, which ironically actually Sisters of the Battle are very good at doing too. So it was me and so it's the Sisters of Battle, the Nuns with Guns versus the Grey Knights. With the Grey Knights versus the Necron. It started okay, but there was one thing that me and the guy with the Grey Knights really didn't count on, and that was the Necrons teleporting. So one of the because it was 2 versus 1. We had 1,000 points each, so each model is worth a couple of points, and me and the Grey Knights had 1,000 points each, totaling 2,000, and the Necrons just had 2,000 outright points to use in his army. And because he had so many points, he then picked up some big units to bring along, and Necrons have some really juicy units that are pretty tough, and he brought those along. And I didn't realise that they could teleport just wherever they wanted. So we had this kind of plan. Then he teleported in amongst the plan. And stupidly, me and my fellow teammate decided to concentrate firepower onto this big bad that dropped in the middle of us. And that was just the complete wrong tactic. We really suffered because of that. Like, really suffered. We got annihilated. Well, not annihilated, but we lost, and pretty badly, which was frustrating. I kept forgetting my rules as well, which wound me up. So that was annoying. Because when you forget shit, oh sorry YouTube, swear. When you forget stuff, it's just it completely throws you, because you then realise what you could have done. You're like, oh my god, I didn't have to do this or sacrifice this model or whatever. I could have done that, or I could have killed him here. And Nuns with Guns, they're cool as heck, and I went with the rule of cool to choose my army. But they do have lots of rules, which I guess is good, but when you're starting off learning Warhammer, it's not so good, because it's quite all-consuming, and like you say, you forget a lot of stuff. But yeah, fair play to the Necron player. He did exceptionally well, sucked up our firepower, and then just sort of slowly picked us off. And yeah, so it was a pretty resounding win. I think because you get points when you play Warhammer for capturing areas, and so you could literally lose all of your miniatures, but you could still win because you have more points because you've done more of the objectives. But I think we were like 18 points to 30 points or something like that. We got blasted. So, you know, we lost. But the good thing about that is that you learn so much. So when you're doing that kind of thing, you're learning every second. Like now, for example, if I ever play those Necrons again and I know that he has this big bad, I'm not going to bother even waste my time focusing firepower on that one unit. I have... do I say it now? No. I have a little thought and a tactic for next time if we face the same big bad. So yeah, so that could work. So it's very tactical, and that's why I quite like it. And the more you learn about your army, the more tactical you can become, and the more sort of preemptive, because you're like, right, I know I'm facing this army and I know my strengths against them, and I should do this and I should do that. So yeah, very cool. But overall, loved hanging out with the lads, and it was a very good game. So that was my Warhammer game. Anyone played any games this week in chat? Drop it into the chat if you have. What games have you been playing? Let me know. What's going on in chat? Honey Ann saying on the creamer discussion. To some people, it's coffee creamer, which is dairy or non-dairy. It's mixed with a lot of sugars and flavours. Yeah, sometimes even powdered. Yes, it can be powdered. We had coffee creamer powdered coffee creamer in our ration packs in the army, because you obviously can't take milk, so you just take coffee creamer. So yeah, powdered version is available. There's lots of flavours, as you point out there. Like the vanilla ones are quite nice. Vanilla creamers, they're pretty cool actually, to be fair. So if you like a sweet flavoured coffee, you would probably very much like a creamer. They're pretty nice. Game of Life. So Strawberry Lime is saying you played Game of Life this week. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Game of Life. I haven't played... When did I last play Game of Life? Oh, a long time ago. Maybe a couple of years back. Yeah, I haven't played Game of Life for a while. Is it the the OG? Strawberry Lime, did you play the OG Game of Life? Or was it one of these new fandangled versions? New fandangled versions with electronics and gadgets and gizmos. So we're just doing a little bit. I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, but I really don't want to paint the cracks. I don't want to paint the cracks, guys. Come on. Here we go. Just take my time with it, because ultimately as well, we've got to wait for this glue to dry on our model, so that's okay. We can do that. Just going as quickly as we can, just across these bits of mud. Quite like this base though. If it wasn't bent and all ruined, it would actually be really cool. Because I quite like the cracked mud effect. That looks pretty sick. Yeah. So what's everyone's plans for the weekend? Come on. Tell me. Are you doing anything interesting? Oh, Strawberry Lime, sorry, is saying the actual game of life, being an adult. Sadly, not the actual game, but board game. But I do love it. Oh, you cheeky devil, Strawberry Lime. Okay. You're playing Steve along there. Yeah, okay, so I get you. You played the actual game of life, as in being an adult, having to go with sucky work, and do boring things that is not cool like this. Absolutely. I feel you, pal. I feel you. Well, never mind. Because it's Friday today, the Euro Millions here in the UK and obviously Europe, 133 million. So you never know. I've got some tickets for tonight. Oh, I'll tell you what, that'd get me some subscribers, wouldn't it? Tell you what, if I win the Euro Millions tonight, I'll do a giveaway. I'll do a giveaway on the Minis-N-Muscles channel next week of money, and it'll be a big lump sum of money as well. So there you go. There's my promise to you as viewers. And look at that, because there's only 87 subscribers now, you have a 1 in 87 chance of winning. You know? So, and seeing as there's only, what, 4 or 5 of you watching right now, who's to say that actually there's only 5 of you watching when I do my live promotion of me winning the lottery and giving money away? So you could be within even more of a chance of winning. See, that's the kind of guy I am. That'd be pretty cool, actually, to do that. I genuinely would like to do that. That'd be smart as. JPC. Oh, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Yes, hello, JPC. How are you, sir? Are you well? What's going on in your world? Oh, by the way, are we liking this week's Pocket Bard track? Is it okay, or is it a bit naff? Do tell me, and I shall put it on shuffle and change it across if needs be. So for those that you've just jumped into the channel, just to say hello, we are currently painting the base, which I picked up earlier this week. It's the base for our tank. We're doing a custom build tank. So if I swap over to here and say, here's our Rhino tank that we are converting to an immolator. Look at those crazy arms on the front now. Look at that. So you've got 2 crazy arms on the front. There we go. You can see those. Nice. Oh, no, I've got to go that way. Oh, I hate this, like, reverse image thing. I can never get it in my stupid little pea brain. There you go. So it's like a chainsaw one side and a claw the other side. We've moved the gunner from the front off to the back. So if we just hold it up like that, we've moved her from this spot down here up to this spot up here. And there's going to be some flamers that go on here, and there's going to be a hunter-killer missile that goes in here. Alright, so, and there's also going to be some other cool stuff that I've got. I've got a Steve at Minis-N-Muscles miniature that I need to print. So if anyone knows anyone with a 3D printer, let me know. Slam it in the DMs. Because I need to get a little special mini printed. Of me! As a Ministorum priest. And I'm going to ride the battle tank. And I'm going to cry... religious profanities from the top of my tank at all the heretics. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. So I need to print that off. Oh, forgot to change the camera back. There we go. So yeah, so I've got that mini to go on. I've also got some stained glass arriving this weekend. So hopefully that will be here. That will be really cool because that'll be very Sisters of Battle vibe. You know, it's like taking a church to the battle lines, which is quite cool. I like that kind of feeling. So that'll be good. JPC, how are you? So you've been on vacation for a bit. Ooh, where did you go, JPC? Tell me. I need to know. Was it anywhere nice? I need a vacation. That's what I need. I was meant to be... Funnily enough, I was meant to be in the US today. But I couldn't go because I had to do something for work. So I had to cancel my flights. And it cost me 650 quid to go nowhere. Yep, you heard me right. £650 to go nowhere. I'm not bitter. Much. But yeah. I would be... Where would I be right now? So I'd be in Atlanta right now. Atlanta, Georgia. And I would be in a hire car driving from Atlanta, Georgia to Texarkana, Texas. So that's what I'd be doing right now. And I'd have been going with my dad. With my dad. And that's what we'd have been doing. So what else is happening in chat? That is looking sexy as F. As in the tank. Yes, thank you very much, Bearded Veteran, for 3D printing. Ask in my server because there's at least 4 people with 3D printers, so I'm sure they could help you out. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'll have to do that. In fact, I think you do. Now you've said that, it's reminded me. I think you told me to do that last week. Terrible memory, so I apologise. So, JPC drove north for 12 hours and visited the daughter, and tomorrow is 12 hours back. Oof. That's a long drive in one day. That's a lot of driving, but JPC, worth every moment. That's what you got to remember. It's worth every moment. So just keep that in your mind, dude. And enjoy the time there. So that's the main thing. And I'm sure you will. Gosh, because I use this paintbrush. This is like this paintbrush I'm using right now. It's not a nice paintbrush. It was like a really cheap Amazon one. But like you can see, I don't know if you can see where it's split. Can you see that? It's split where I don't look after this brush whatsoever. I just slap paint all over the place with it. But it works for this kind of stuff. You could never use this on detail. Crikey. But yeah, so... what was I going to say? I was going to say, yes. So, fantasy movies. Last week, I started talking about fantasy movies, then got distracted, as I do every week, talking about something else. Something else. I just love the fantasy movie world, right? So, we spoke last week about a couple of our favourites. What is the most obscure fantasy movie that you know of that is actually really good? Is there anything out there that you guys know of? If it is, drop it in the comments. Let me know. So, what do I want to talk about? Although it's not obscure, I do love back in like the late 70s through the 80s, possibly early 90s as well. They went big on scenery, right? So it doesn't matter whether you look at, I don't know, Star Wars, for example. Star Wars, or perhaps, Star Wars or Goonies, for example. You know, they went really big on scenery. And I can appreciate that. You can appreciate all the effort that goes into it. Even like Jurassic Park, early 90s. Yeah, early 90s. 93, I think. So even that was, you know, big on animatronics. And they looked awesome. So much better than like CGI. I don't know why. CGI, although it's more real, as in you get a CGI car versus an animatronic car, let's say. The CGI does look more real in the sense of the dimensions and how it works and flows and moves. But the picture never looks real. Although the puppet, let's go back to our Jurassic Park, although puppets in Jurassic Park of like the T-Rex, you could tell, you know, where it was real or not, but because it was real and it was there with the actors, actresses, it was just 10 times cooler. And I love people in the movie world that bother their arse to really make some good quality scenery. And so for that, like, one film that I absolutely love and adore to this day is Labyrinth. That's an awesome movie. I do love that film. That's super cool. Very prevalent in my childhood. And I absolutely love it for the scenery and how they bothered with all the puppets throughout the whole thing. You know, from Bluto, the big sort of Ludo the big. I don't know what he is actually, but he's sort of a monstery kind of bear stroke demon kind of thing. So Ludo, he was just so cool. All the way through to some of the smaller puppets, and they actually brought in real dogs and stuff. It was just really cool. I loved how they made some effort in that. And modern films just doesn't feel like the same love. It's almost, it's the right word, loveless. It doesn't feel like people love the art of filmmaking. It's just like, knock another one out. Don't know what you guys feel. Oh, hi Mira Manga. Hey up, Chuck. Your shirt's missing. No, Mira. This is Minis-N-Muscles, the place where the brawn meets the brush. So welcome. Happy Friday. Bearded Veteran saying, I just watched a film called The House with the Clock on the Wall. It's a film where Jack Black plays a warlock. Oh my lord. Jack Black. Love that guy. Absolutely love that guy. Right, House with a Clock on the Wall. Right, I'm going to have to watch that. I've not seen that film at all. Has anyone else seen that film? Can you verify? Verify with me. I love Jack Black. I saw Jack Black. When was it? When did I see him? A couple of months back. He was playing in Brighton, which is not that far from me, on the south coast here in the UK. And I went and saw him playing with Kyle in the band Tenacious D, and that was absolutely brilliant. I love the Tenacious D songs. Love Jack Black. What an actor. I also like him because I've seen some other things that he does, like how he sort of interacts with fans and things like that, especially fans with like special needs and that sort of thing. And he's quite an endearing chap. I quite like him. I don't know, maybe he's not like that in real life. Maybe he's a complete butthead, but as so many of these celebrities seem to be. What is with that, by the way? So, never heard of it. Strawberry Lime's never heard of this film, The House with a Clock on the Wall. It was on Netflix as Bearded Veteran. Strawberry Lime saying, oh, sounds interesting. Mira Manga, what film? Jumanji. Jumanji, yeah. Fantasy films, Mira. We're talking about fantasy films and what you enjoy. What you enjoy watching. And I was sort of saying, I don't know if you was on the stream when I started nattering away, but I was saying, I love fantasy films that put in the effort on the scenery. Whether that's a big puppet in the Labyrinth, or whether that's, quality background scenery, and, even movies like Star Wars. Where they really sort of put some effort in. Even the Goonies. That massive ship at the end, right? How cool would that be if, the big ship, everyone knows the big ship in Goonies, yeah? Right at the end of the movie. No, is it the end? Near the end of the movie, when they get to the big ship. Could you imagine that as an escape room? So the Goonies films, so you start off in the house, then you go into the sort of underground area, into the caverns, and then you make your way, and it's like 3 or 4 rooms to get to the ship, and you have to go and swim through like a massive pool to get to the ship and find the gold. Oh man, I'm getting excited just thinking about that. I would love that. That would be cool. So Bearded Veteran said, I literally finished watching it, then came on here. Okay, cool. He even whistles Tenacious D songs when he's walking around on his own. That is Jack Black. You gotta love that guy. He does so many cool things. Like, yeah. Oh, talking to Jack Black, did you know? Has anyone seen that Jack Black plays D&D? Anyone seen that? Jack Black playing D&D? It is brilliant. So there's a very talented dungeon master called Deborah Ann Wall. She is an American actress, and she's in... What's she in now? Is it Green Lantern and some other stuff as well? She's in quite a lot of stuff. I don't watch a lot of TV and stuff, but people will know her if they saw her face. That's Deborah Ann Wall. W-A-H-L. But she's really, really talented. And Jack Black joins a couple of other celebrities, including Dustin from Stranger Things, on a celebrity D&D game, and he plays a character called Barolo, and he is absolutely brilliant. If you haven't seen that and you love watching live play D&D, absolutely get on it. Get on watching Jack Black as Barolo. But yeah, very cool. Bit of actually saying, just put a message up on my Discord server to see if anyone... Oh, thank you very much, buddy. Mira, you're talking about Jumanji. So, big debate on Jumanji. Original Jumanji, Robin Williams, or, controversial, the new Jumanji with Jack Black. What do we reckon? What are you going for, Mira? In fact, I know what you're going to go for. You're going to go for the big, hulking, muscly Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I reckon that's who Mira's going to choose. But correct me if I'm wrong. So what else is going on here? Talking of D&D, I should probably say about my D&D game that was on this week. So every Thursday, I DM a game of D&D for a group of friends here in the man cave. Literally just opposite where I'm sat now, so the other side of the camera. We all sit around my table and play D&D. And there's 6 players and there's one of me, and it's absolutely fantastic. So it's all a custom homebrew game that I just created throughout my own crazy, warped, fragile little mind. And we played it now. Crikey, how long have we played it? It must be at least 6 months, maybe longer, maybe a year. Is it a year? Oh my lord, if it's a year, we haven't done a year anniversary thing. Oh man, but anyway, we played it for quite some time and it's been bloody brilliant. I genuinely love having my buddies over, over every Thursday to roll some dice and have an absolute laugh. Like, some sessions aren't even combat heavy, so traditional D&D going into a cave and fighting a dragon. The last session was basically doing some shopping, going around the town and collecting some things for future quests, and doing a seance because the party have just inherited this house, which is quite amusing. They've inherited this house and they've found out that it's haunted, so they've hired this specialist ghost, not ghost hunter. What are they? A paranormal person. That's what it is. They've hired a paranormal person to come in and help them exorcise the demons type thing, or be able to speak to the dead. So they brought her in, who was a crazy sort of Jamaican accent lady called Betty. And it was basically like a sort of seance, and even the guys that were sat around the table, it was brilliant. We dimmed the lights, and everyone that sat around the table held hands as if they was in a proper seance, and I was describing what was happening in the room and the feel, and we had, of course, Pocket Bard on with some spooky ooky music. In fact, let's change it to spooky ooky. So we had this music. I think, was it this music? Yes. So we had this music. We had the lights dim. The party was sat round the table, all holding hands, willing the energies in the room to be able to find the ghost or the lost soul that's trapped within the walls of their magical house. So that's the kind of vibe, right? And you've got this louder than loud sort of Big Mama-esque but Jamaican medium. That's right, bearded veteran, medium. So you've got this sort of louder than loud medium that's sort of, you know, chatting away, and then sort of she sits down and her eyes roll back in her head, and she starts to sort of mutter in tongues unknown that the party don't understand, and the room goes quiet, and the wind starts to whip around in the room, and they see these blue orbs sort of shining around. And then all of a sudden, the orbs fall into one of the bodies of the party members, and she sort of freezes, and she starts to talk, but not in her usual voice. And she starts to talk, and I talk for the spirit being. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. It was a really fun game. And, you know, the reason why I think that's quite important to bring up is because a lot of people have some preconceptions around what D&D is and what it should be. But this group, one of the reasons why I love them, not just because they're a fun group to be around, but they're just, you never know what you're getting with them. So as a DM, it's quite challenging. So, you know, I started off building this whole narrative for them in a city called Neverwinter. And then they moved out of the city. They decided just to leave the city because they got in trouble. And they went off to a completely different city. Bear in mind, I'd written all this content for this one city. And they went off somewhere else. And then, but that's what it's like. And it's so fun. Like, genuinely fun. Because it keeps me on my toes. And they do, like, crazy things like shopping. You know, they'll spend a whole sort of evening shopping. We did play for, 3 hours every Thursday. And they spent pretty much the whole time shopping. Or they'll do silly things like, not silly, but mad things like they'll go and go fishing. They went fishing for pretty much a whole episode. And it was absolutely hilarious. But I love it because it is unpredictable. And that's what makes D&D really fun, is that there's no walls to it. It's just literally absolutely everything and anything you can think of. And, you know, so we were chatting in our D&D group. And they were like, oh, well, what can we do? And I was like, well, if you want to do this, then do that. If you want to do this, then... And I was basically giving them free rein for whatever they want, and I'll play along. And it just makes it such a cool little adventure every time, because it's so different, and you just don't know what you're going to get. We had plenty of skill checks and rolls for different things they were trying to achieve, whether it was conning a shop person or, you know, buying stuff and bartering from a market, or they chased down a goblin thief. I ended up letting them go, but they chased down a goblin thief. I was just trying to entice the party and see what their reaction would be to them seeing a thief running through the market. So, you know, it's just quite fun just to throw random things at them and see what they do. It's really fun. So yeah, that was my D&D game on Thursday, which was yesterday evening. It was lots of laughs. Does anyone that's online watching? Oh, we've got 5 viewers right now. Anyone play D&D at all, or is people still just mainly painting? JPC, if you're still listening, how's your painting going? How are you doing with that? And anyone else doing some painting right now? Following along on the Minis and Muscles as we paint our base for our tank. So remember, we've got our base that's going on here. If I just quickly wash off this thingamabob, our paintbrush, we've got our tank, our custom rhino that we're turning into an immolator. Remember this. We're turning this rhino tank into an immolator. We've got some crazy chainsword and we've got a crazy arm. Let's bring it a bit closer to the screen so you can see. Like that. And then we've got the gunner that's mounted at the rear, so she's changed positions from the front. We have got some flamers to go on, so here are our flamers. There we go. We've got 2 of these going on. We've got things like this going on, a little banner to go on the back. We've got other sort of little religious relics to go on as well. Oh, there you go. There's another little religious relic. And then we're going to put on the floor some of these goblins and squish them. And they're going to go on the base of our model. What we got in the chat? Pibsy DM'd my first few session last week, actually. Thought I'd pipe up now. Pibsy, welcome to the channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the place where the brawn meets the brush. Welcome. Lovely to have you on board. So you DM'd your first session. How did it go? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? I am sure that session was good. I'm sure you must have enjoyed it. Like, sometimes you enjoy playing as a player, but there's a certain thing about, I don't know, maybe it's just my personality. Like, I'm very much a people person and I love to bring like joy to people. That is why I do this. I don't do it for money. I don't do it because I'm the best painter in the world. I don't do it because I'm the funniest or the coolest or whatever. I do it just because I love people. And I love the thought of building a community. That for me is really, really cool. I just have a swig of my coffee. Let's change the music back, by the way. What's some mountains like? Oh, that'll do. Oh, Mira, you do bring joy. Ah, thank you. But that's all I want to do. That's it. That's why I do it. Not for anything else, but just for the fun. And that's what D&D is all about. So Pibsy, your first D&D session that you DM'd for people. When you DM and when I DM, I love seeing people's faces. I love, just like this, when people react on here, it just fills me with joy. It fills me with like such happiness to know that, you know, I'm entertaining people or people find this interesting. And I'm, you know, just chatting stuff, really. And that's what DMing's kind of like in some ways. You don't get the thrill of the journey that you're taking a character on, but you get the thrill as a DM of watching your players go on that journey. You know exactly, you know exactly what's going to happen. You know kind of where you're going to take the story and where you're going to lead them to, or the ultimate goal and all this. But seeing a player's face when you go, oh, and that happens. Oh, and this happens. It's like the group that I play with and that I DM for, right? One of the party members, he was super rich. So they went back to his family's house and they met his father, who's a complete butthead. And the local area where his father's house was the area had become sick. Like there was a big sort of sickness spread throughout this rich area of the town. Now they had to the party had to find out what was happening and stop the sickness. Because one of the party members' mothers was very, very ill. And it turned out that the father was, you know, not so good, and he'd done some naughty dealings and got the rich part of the town in trouble because he'd sort of frauded the cult out of a deal. So, and anyway, the whole part of every time they turned up at this posh house, they would meet this servant called Schnurgle. Now, Schnurgle, hello, he talks like this, and he's hello, and he's really super funny, and he's super cool, and he's just a lovable, stupid fool, right? Now the party, he would sort of talk to the party, say, hello, did you want a drink or do you want a sandwich? And he'd go off and he'd go and get them food, and he'd bring the food back or whatever, or go and get the father to meet with the party, and he'd do all these sort of things, and the party took pity on him. And they took pity on poor old Schnurgle, and they took him with them to their house, because they just inherited a house at this point. So they took Schnurgle to their house, and now every time they go off to the house, they have to see Schnurgle. Oh, we've got a lot of chat coming in. Mira's saying, I have to head off, Steve, and watch afterwards. Night, Mira. Lovely to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you haven't checked over Mira's channel, Mira Manga has got her own channel on YouTube. She does a lot of things on lore around Warhammer. So Mira is a big book nerd. And she won't take offence to me saying that, because she's a super smart individual who reads books at the speed of lightning. Way faster than me. But Mira, I have finished book 1, in case you're still there. I have finished book 1 now of the Horus Heresy. But yeah, Mira does a load of... Yes, I'll see you at Comic Con, Mira. Definitely see you at Comic Con. Samira does a load of lore stuff. So she gets like these really cool writers like Dan Abnett, for example, who writes some of the Horus Heresy books and the Warhammer series books. She has these people on her show and talks to them and has like full-on interviews. So she's absolutely cool. She does some great content. So definitely head over to her channel if you love things like Warhammer lore. She's all about that, so she's very cool. Yes, we will do a live chat very, very soon. Happy to come on the channel and talk rubbish. Absolutely happy. That's my, that's what I love to do. So not a problem. And yeah, Comic Con is in a few weeks, so I will see you very soon, Mira. Take it easy. So Pibsy, you said you totally loved it. We drunk a bit to get in the groove and it worked perfectly. Oh man, I'm so happy for you. Like genuinely, Pibsy, that's cool as heck. D&D is such a fun thing to share with your friends. I'm going to go back to my cam now to carry on painting whilst I chat rubbish. But yeah, D&D is a great game to play with a group of friends just to have fun. As I said, sometimes it takes a little bit. As Pibsy, you've pointed out, you had to have a couple of drinks to get your friends in the mood and sort of loosened up. And the first time people play D&D, it does feel a bit like that. So, you are going to have to help people and sort of coerce people along a little bit. But don't feel like that's a bad thing. That will happen everywhere. And, that you won't be the only one to experience that. I've experienced it in games that I've DM'd for when people are brand new players and you've got a table of brand new players and, nobody wants to talk. So I've had that myself. But you got into it. You had a few drinks. That is epic. And I don't drink personally. I'm not saying drinking's epic. But I'm saying it's epic that you got into it, Pibsy. And you managed to have a good evening. So here's a question for you, Pibsy, if you're still listening. What was the sort of biggest surprise for you when you were DMing? What was it that sort of made you think, oh crikey, this is good, or this is bad, or this is really hard? What was the thing that sort of stood out most from your session? Whilst we asked Pibsy that. So he's also talking about films, fancy films, and I get carried away with other topics. People were saying Jumanji, and the first Jumanji, I think it was, let's just scroll up that chat. Honey Ann was saying original Jumanji, it's not even a question. Right, okay. Agree, the original Jumanji is really good. But I am a Jack Black fan. And do you know what? The original Jumanji with Jack Black in it, oh my lord. Now that is a combination. That would be really good. Like really, really good. So yeah, I would have loved to see that. Obviously Robin Williams, God rest his soul, has passed, but Jack Black and Robin Williams? Anyone? Jack Black and Robin Williams, am I right? That's gotta be right. Oh man, that would be hilarious. I think I'd end up wetting myself before I finished watching the movie. Yeah. Oh, music's got very dramatic. So we're still painting away on our base, on our model for our tank to go on top of. A bit of a laborious task, this one. It's not, doing stuff like this is never particularly fun. Especially when you're trying to paint with a paintbrush that's split because you're using a knackered old brush because you don't want to use your nice ones. This technical paint, by the way, guys. So I'm using this technical paint right here. Sterland Mud. Always use crappy old brushes like this, look. That is split at the end, but so what? Right? Do that because this technical paint real messes your it messes your bristles up. It messes your bristles. So yeah, honestly, don't use your good brushes in technical paints. They get absolutely ruined. So please, 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 you'll be spending a goddamn fortune on brushes if you did that. Yeah, so what else is going on? Pibsy's back. He's saying, one mate had played before and was jokingly making situation random and getting me to think. Adapting to all that was fun. Yeah. So it's quite helpful if you've got one person that has played before, that knows the rules. When I first DM'd, my first ever DM session, I spent weeks learning the rules. Like, studying the rules, taking the book on the train, reading it as I was going to work. Like, I was infusing myself into that book to try and read how to play. And don't get me wrong, I didn't get all the rules, I didn't nail it down completely, but I got a fair amount. I sneakily, I can say, because I'm not there now, but my old work, I used the colour printer, because I had a lovely colour printer there. I printed out all of the spells for my players into little cards. I cut them out, every single spell, and I made folders for each of the players. Because I want people to have a good time, whether it's watching Minis-N-Muscles or whether that's playing D&D with me. Like, with that first group, I made them all folders, cut out all the spells into spell cards that were available for their characters and put them all in their folders and said, right, there's your spells. Because they didn't all have an app or whatever, to try and make it easier and fun. Like, this group that I'm playing with now, all pretty experienced players. They've all played previously, apart from one. Well, I lie. He played many moons ago, so he has played previously, but very long time ago. He's getting back into it. So with this group, I didn't have to do as much of that. But what I do is I have, like, the background music going all the time. I have a map. I created a map of the city that they were in. And I labelled all the areas and all the locations that they know in that city. Said, right, you've been here, you've been there, you know this part, you know that part. Just so they had this map that they could refer to with this list of places. So if they're going round, they can go, oh yeah, I want to go to the magic shop, and the magic shop is XYZ, and it's here in this district. Where's it on the map? When they look at the map, they can then, it's almost like they can immerse themselves in the world that you're constructing. And that's really cool. That makes it so interesting, because it just brings an element of investment for the group. It makes them feel part of it, I think. I could be completely wrong, and my group that I DM for think I'm a complete mentalist, but I hope not. But, you know, hopefully they see that and they feel that passion that I have for the game and for, well, ultimately bringing joy and fun. So yeah, that's hopefully what they get and what they see. It's just an extra little thing for them to remember and think, oh yeah, that was really cool, because, you know, Steve had this map and of everywhere we've been, and he sort of listed off all these different locations that we knew of. Helps people immerse themselves in the world. The more you help people, Pibsy, immerse into your world, the better. If you can, make things, not right now because you're still picking things up and learning, but if you can, start to bring in personal things. So when you're looking at a player's backstory, bring in the personal elements into your game. So I don't know, it could be that one of the players is an orphan, and that orphan is scared of XYZ because of their past. Well, bring that into the game. Bring an element of that in, because it makes them think about their character, and it makes them think, oh yeah, that's really important. Yeah, so yeah, it's very cool. Right, we're almost getting done with this brown anyway on the base for where our tank is going to go. Let's carry on with our movie chat anyway. Oh, we're almost... Crikey, we're an hour and 15 into the stream, guys. This has gone well fast. Blimey. I didn't realise it had gone that fast, to be fair. Right, well, I suppose at this point, we will come back to movies, but we're going to go to our muscle moment, because we wouldn't be the place where the brawn meets the brush if we didn't talk about muscle moments, right? We always do this here on Minis-N-Muscles. We take a bit, 10 minutes or so, just to chat and talk between us about fitness, just general fitness and general bits and bobs that you might be interested in. As you may or may not know, if you've just joined us, I love fitness. Absolutely love it. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'm too busy because of work or stress or whatnot, but I do try to do it every single week, at least 3 times a week. Quite often my week is really maxed, so I get 1 session in a week, and then I have to do 2 sessions at a weekend. So, you know, quite often that's the case. But fitness is really important. So part of the whole Minis and Muscles ethos is it's like healthy mind, healthy body. Healthy mind, painting miniatures and D&D and Warhammer and computer games. All these things to help promote healthy mind. For lots of different reasons, whether that is you get the healthy mind through connecting with your friends, or whether that's through conversation you have, or whether it's through zoning out into a place where you're painting models by yourself and just enjoying it. Right, so healthy mind. Healthy body is our muscle moments moment. Muscle moments moment? Yeah, if we can do that. And that is where we talk, 10 minutes about something fitness related. And today, my gripe, as Peter Griffin would say, that's really grinding my gears, is gym clothing, right? I'm going to lay it out here. I want you to fill the chat with as much as you can. What the hell is going on in this world, right? Who in the chat goes to the gym? Stick it in the chat. Come on, fill it up. Tell me who goes to the gym. Who goes to the gym and who has seen them absolute clowns that are dressed scantily cladded? And I mean, like, yeah, I've got a vest on, right? But these people have, it might be this part of the vest, but it's like teeny tiny at the top. And then on the shorts, they're like Y-front short and spray on. Why do people do this? So, ladies, if you go to the gym, there is no requirement to go to the gym in the smallest outfit in the world and to show everybody in the world what you've got underneath your gym clothing. Nobody wants to see that. It's a gym. You're there to work out, work hard. There's no point in going to the gym if you're not going to work hard because you're never going to achieve anything. But if you are in the gym, go there dressed appropriately. Guys, listen to me. You don't need to firstly pull your socks so high up around your knees or wear like trousers that are tighter than what your missus will wear on a night out. That's really weird. And Crocs. What's with Crocs in the gym? Crocs in the gym? When did that become acceptable? Barefoot. Like people walking around with stanky feet everywhere. Like proper gross feet. Plodding around, sweat trailing all over the place. Like, I'm going to sound like an old man and you're probably thinking, oh, but there's nothing wrong with Crocs. There's nothing wrong with teeny tiny tops and there's nothing wrong with X, Y, Z. Well, okay, but, why do you want to show everybody that? Why do you not have a bit of personal hygiene about yourself? And why would you do that in a public place? That really gets me, like, absolutely. Does that get you guys or is it just me? For me, gym clothing needs to be appropriate for the activity you're doing, right? It needs to be appropriate in the sense that, the item that you're wearing is suitable to do the activity you're doing, and do it in a way that allows, especially in a gym, your body to move in the right way. And, like, for example, a vest. The reason why I wear a vest is purely because if I'm doing something like shoulder presses, and I'm doing this, so I can see my lats, I can see my shoulders, I can see my arms moving down, and I can get that 90-degree bend. I'm sitting slightly cockeyed, I know. If I've got a massive t-shirt on, I can't see any of this. So it's actually good for form and technique. However, if I went in the gym in a pair of Speedos and that was it, like Speedos going up my arse crack, I don't think anybody would be too impressed with that. So, come on, let's have a bit of decorum here. What we're saying in the chat, what's with Crocs in general? Yeah, I kind of get that. Pibsy's saying, I study anthropology at uni and did a module on this and how human brains have evolved this way. Not gym clothing, but generally how people appear. Oh, okay, Pibsy. Nice. All right, so what... excuse my thickness. I don't even know what anthropology is, so you're going to have to put it in here. If you haven't seen episode 1 and 2, I kind of do a bit of an introduction about myself, Pibsy. I'm real thick. I'm an ex-soldier, not very clever. Eat crayons, pretty stupid. So you'll have to explain what anthropology is, because I don't know. But I guess it's something to do with people and thinking. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe people just think it's generally acceptable to wear less clothes now. I even get a bit miffed when like guys walk down the street with their tops off, and it's not even like super. Even if it's super sunny, actually, I don't think that's particularly good manners to do that. That's just me. Maybe I'm just very, very old-fashioned in my way. But, you know, we were saying that clothing should be suitable, and, you know, for example, this vest, I can see my form and it allows freedom of movement. If you wear the right clothing, it should be good quality clothing that, for example, wicks away sweat. If you're going on a hardcore run, you don't want to be in a top that's sort of tight around your neck and, you know, making you sweat all over the place. You want something that's comfortable, wicks the sweat away, and allows you to stay cool. So choose the appropriate clothing that works for you. That is the main thing. And some people say, well, these tiny little shorts where I show my front bottom, you know, that really works for me. You don't need to do that. That's just bad manners, I think. It's almost like me going into a gym and just effing and jeffing and being really rude and obnoxious just because I could. I could, but that's not very nice to do. No one else wants to hear that. Pibsy, haha. It's essentially human culture and how that has evolved. Oh, okay, got ya. All right, that makes sense. So yeah, perhaps it is just. I think a lot of modern day, and I'm saying kids. You know, I'm 40, but so I'm not that old. But I think kids in general are a little bit less rule abiding now, and they're more sort of open to breaking rules. Well, I want to do it this way, and I can, and you can't stop me because I know all the rules. That's kind of how I perceive it. I don't know if that's the same. If there's anyone on the channel that is younger than me. Bearded Veteran saying he went to the shop the other day. A woman got out the driver's seat of her car in bare feet and went around the shop with nothing on her feet, then got back in the car and drove off. Oh man, that's mental. Crikey, I don't think I could do that. That's just not my cup of tea. I've not ever even been in the shop in like my slippers. Don't get me wrong, I don't wear shirt and tie every day, and some like relatives of mine will only wear a shirt and trousers, for example, when they go out. You know, it's just what some people do. I don't go that far, but I do try and be tidy. Pibsy's saying it all really comes down to the primal urge to breed. Sounds stupid, but I know. But people enjoy their bodies and may assume others do as well. Assetting their looks. Assetting the. Is that a word? Again, stupidity. It's something their looks and to come off as wanted desire. Okay, I think I've got you right. So you're saying people do it to attract the other half, to show off. It's like in a show off kind of thing. Yeah, I get that. Like, I guess we could say here what I do by sitting in a vest and having the channel Minis-N-Muscles. You could say, oh, that's showing off. I thought it was just a gimmick, actually. It's not to show off. I don't think I have the best body in the world, and I certainly don't. It was more just a gimmick to stand me out from everybody else, because you get a lot of painters on YouTube, and I was like, okay, there's lots of them. Well, I like the gym, and I like mini painting, and I want to kind of combine the two, because I think the geek culture shouldn't be exclusive to non-gym bros, you know? So that's kind of my theory. But yeah, I think people do want to show off a little bit too much. I think sometimes girls do it a little bit more than blokes, where, and sorry ladies if you're listening, and shoot me down if you think I'm not talking the truth, but quite often a lot of girls in the gym wear stuff, I think, to drive attention. I think you're probably right, Pibsy. Because they don't understand that the value of a woman is not to show everything. The magic of a woman is to what they can hide. They don't have to show everything to be sexy. And same as a bloke, you don't have to show everything to be sexy or to be attractive. You don't have to show absolutely everything about you as a person, whether your looks or whether your mindset, to be attractive. But some people think that is what they have to do. They have to throw it all out there. Now, through experience of seeing things and watching how things play out, actually what I've seen happen with the girls that sort of want that kind of attention and wear those kind of items, they then attract a certain type of bloke. That certain type of bloke is not what they're looking for, because they generally don't treat them that well. So they get all this attention because a bloke will instantly look, and even if it's the most sincerest and kindest of blokes, they will look because it's natural, because it's just something that catches their eye, not because they're a perv. They'll look, they'll go, all right, and they'll turn away. So this girl will get lots of attention like that. You'll get also the guys that will give them far too much attention, and they'll attract a lot of it, and they will get that. So maybe that's what they're craving. They will then find one of those blokes, unfortunately, because most guys that are fairly decent will see that kind of thing. And I'm saying it from a guy perspective, ladies, just because I am a guy. And the guy will be like, that's not my kind of cup of tea. I like my ladies that have standards. So they'll shy away from that, and the lady will find themselves with a guy that has low standards and will do anything they want, and it's not really the kind of bloke they want. So they kind of screw themselves over a little bit. That's my perception. Pipsy saying, you don't seem like some ego-driven gym guy, but people who wear these unthinkable outfits are most likely thinking for it. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Like, I don't even always wear a vest to the gym. I don't talk. I do talk to people, I smile to people, and I will talk if they talk to me. But I'm headphones on, head down, and I will just try and crack on with my gym thing. I don't record in the gym. I have some videos that I've done, very short things, and I feel embarrassed as hell when I film myself in the gym. Not like some people that sort of put all these cameras up everywhere. Bit of extra sense. Interesting, you're saying you don't have the best body in the world, because what is and isn't a good and attractive body is purely a matter of perspective. Yes, 100% bearded veteran, 110%. So what I think is a good body or not a good body, to someone else is an amazing body, to someone else is a terrible body. Everyone thinks differently. And, whether you're a man or woman, you have different attractions where you will find something aesthetically pleasing and you'll be like, oh yeah, I really like that. So yeah, 100%. What else do I want to say about it? Yeah, I think sort of a final summary on it is more around that kind of, let's call it provocative clothing, right? I'll never forget it. I was in a gym and a girl exercised, this was about 5 years ago, a girl exercised in front of me and you could literally see everything. And I went to my friend who was the gym manager at the time, and I said to her, hey, do you know there's a girl up there exercising? I can see the lot. And it's like, I'm on this machine, so I can't move anywhere. I'm literally stuck. And I said, I had to get up and walk away. I said, because I felt like a weirdo, because I was like this, trying to do this exercise on this pec deck, looking all over the place. And I said, if I walked in a mankini, people would kick off. And I said, can't you ban that kind of clothing? And she was like, no, you can't ban it. But, standards it comes down to. And I guess those kind of people I wouldn't associate possibly with. So maybe that's where it goes. It's sort of who you would hang out with and what you would enjoy talking with those people with, I guess. I just try and encourage healthy habits to wear suitable attire, including footwear, not Crocs, that, is, gym friendly for everybody, because there could even be kids in the gym, for God's sake, or young adults that are impressionable, whether it's young men or young women. The young men will be, if a woman's wearing provocative clothing, the young men might think, oh, look at that, and be staring too much because they don't understand social interactions. And the young girls could be thinking, oh, well, that's what all girls wear, that's what I should wear. And that can get them in a lot of trouble being very young with, evil people that are in the world. Pibsy, sorry to nerd out again, but that's actually quite a new idea. People generally followed the ideologies of royalty and the higher up in society when finding what attractive. Oh, okay, right, got you. Well, yeah. Well, maybe I'm a trendsetter, Pibsy. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe I'm a trendsetter. But anyway, enough of the fitness. We have spoke far too much. Not far too much, but we spoke a lot about fitness in general. So back to our tank so I can sort of continue to do what we got. Right, so we got here, let's slap some grey down. So for the grey colour we are going to use this technical paint again, Astrogranite. Just mix it up a bit. Use the same old paintbrush. Do not use your good paintbrush. You'll only cry when your good paintbrush is knackered out. So we're just going to do these rocks very quickly, and this should be fairly easy, right? So it's not difficult to paint these rocks. You can skim over these quite fast. Remember as well when you're doing this, you don't have to load your paintbrush up completely. If you leave little grey parts, can you see that? If you leave little grey parts, it actually looks really good. I'm actually going to change my brush. I'm going to go to a dry brush. Not a fan of that for painting rock. Where is my dry brush? Let's get this one out. It's a bit knackered again, but I don't want to change my brushes just yet. So let's just get this out and just go over the rocks. Oh, that's kind of covered the lot there, isn't it? Darn. Okay, no worries. So you can see I'm just sort of just lightly dabbing on the grey onto these rocks. Get the grey in there. Try and take some of that grey off and spread it across to these ones as well that are over this side. See, because you've got the black undercoat on them, it's quite nice just to steal in a bit more grey off of that side. It's quite nice because you get like the shadows that come underneath. Just take a little bit of paint and just... There we go. And don't worry if you go out, in my case, I'm not going to worry because I'm going on to the skulls because they're going to get painted later anyway. So, don't panic too much. But if we zoom in here, bop, bop, oh, wrong way, whoop. A little bit out, there we go. Let's get some light on the situation as well. And let's bring that into frame. So, can you see the difference here between this rock, which is almost entirely covered, and then if we spin round to this rock here, that has got some black on it as well. I don't know if I'm getting the right angles with the light and the zoom, but what happens is as you dry brush over the top, and it's a little bit more than a dry brush, I forgot what the technique's called, but it covers most of the thing you're trying to paint, and it just leaves tiny little depressions. Those depressions just bring out the shape when you're painting something, so it just get that sort of depth, and it's actually really nice. So let's try it over on this one with a little bit less paint on my brush. A little less paint on my brush. That's too much, Steve. There we go. Let's try and get around there. So what I might try and do as well is, Mira mentioned about Comic Con, right? So I'm going to Comic Con this year. I am going both as Steve from Minis-N-Muscles, but also to support a gaming charity called Game Therapy UK, who support veterans with tabletop therapeutic gaming. So I will be there in my vest. Not the whole time because I'm not a mentalist and I'll get cold, but I will be there, so do look out for me at Comic Con, and I will try to take some of these models. So if you are a fan of Minis-N-Muscles and you've seen some of the stuff that we painted on the show, I'm going to try to take some with me. I can't guarantee what I will take, but I will try to take some with me. So there you go. Again, the lighting's not coming out too good. I need to change my lighting, I think. It's just not cutting the mustard to give me the detail I want. Oh, actually, let's try phone cam. Let's try phone cam, guys. Boop. There we go. Right, so this is what I was talking about. Can you see how much is too much on there? Whereas this one here, can you see there's sort of a black depression and shadow on that? That looks doesn't look so great on a camera like this, but in real life it looks really cool. This one again, slightly too much, I think. Again, slightly too much because it's covered too many of the cracks and too many of the depressions. So I will probably go back over that off channel, off air, with a little bit of black, just to cover some of them recesses. And then after that, I've just got some skulls to do on the base. So that's what our base looks like, though. Looks pretty cool, right? And then if you can imagine that we're going to get some of these orcs like this. Actually, he's probably going to be over this side. And we've got some orc skulls as well somewhere. So there's one. And there's another. And we're just going to get those. And we're going to put them over this side, I think. Because the tank... Let's just mock this up, right? So we've got that there like that. Close that paint. And let's bring our tank in. How it's going to work is this tank is then going to go like this. I know it doesn't look right now, but because we've got the rock left and right, it's actually going to raise the tank up. So that will sit like that, and you'll have the bodies underneath, and then you'll have the tank over this side, like at an angle. Oh, hang about. There you go. Get a bit of light on that. There you go. So the tank does just fit on the base, but it's like at a crazy angle, which I kind of quite like. And then you can imagine you've got the gunner on the back here. You're going to have the flamers on the front. You're going to have the hunter-killer missile. You're going to have at the back this stained glass window. And stood around here... Oh, crikey. You stood around here. You're going to have Steve from Minis-N-Muscles. You're going to have me. Mini-me. Literally. You're going to have Mini-me on the miniature. And I'll be there as a minister and priest. So that's going to be pretty cool. What's Pibsy saying? He's saying, haha, yeah, one of the positives of social media and the web, yeah. Bit of veteran saying, if you went to Comic Con in your vest, you'd have to change your name to Stevie Stiffnips with the gold. Mate, I've got the world's tiniest nips, so I don't think anyone would see anyway. But yeah, it's pretty chilly there in that. Was it chilly? Or was it? I can't remember, to be fair. Can't remember if it was chilly or not. But it was good last year anyway. So I will be there. Mira will be there because Mira is part of GTUK as well. So she will be there. And there'll be some other individuals there as well from GTUK. Well, it's about 12 or 15 of us, including from the military side, the tactical advanced game. We will all be there. So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a good little sesh at Comic Con, I think. Right, let's have a look at this guy, right? So we've got this little geezer, and we want to put him. We don't want him on this little sprue, so let's take that off him. Oh, there you go. Clip straight off. Right, we don't want him blowing that horn because that just looks stupid. So let's cut this off. So let's just take this off. In fact, can we use my fat fingers to take that bit off? I think so. Just move it so we can snip it. There we are. Snip, snip, snips. As part of like kit bashing, is all this sort of snipping here, snipping there, and just trying to make things look cool and change things up, right? Just be brave. Just cut it and don't worry about it. I may even cut that arm and move his arm so it's straight rather than bent. Let's see if we can get away with that. I might have to just cut it straight down the joint. Right, so we've got that cut there. What we want to do is some of this burr that's on here we're going to have to take off because his face looks really weird. Although, because he's got puffed up cheeks because he's blowing that horn. So I'm just using the edge of my snips right now because it's fairly sharp, just to take away a little bit of that burr. Here we go. Just take a little bit away, a little bit away. Tidy that up. Sorry if I keep on bringing the model out of zoom, guys. It's just because I'm looking round this, because this is the light, so you can see it. Oh, man. The dream, eh? We're living the dream in this this setup. Get a little file on there, just file it off a bit. In fact, it's got a bit of green stuff on it now. That's not good. Tell you what, we might get away with that if we just paint that. I think we might. I know this, by the way, this model is not even a Warhammer 40,000 model. I do believe this is an Age of Sigmar model. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe so. But yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's still an enemy that the tank has driven over. It's still a heretic. It's still a Xenos scum. So yeah, back to main topic and cool fantasy movies. What did I want to talk about? We talked about Jumanji, we talked about a bit Jurassic Park, about Labyrinth, about the backgrounds and the scenery and how I love all of that kind of immersive kind of feel when they make these fantasy movies. And what for me doesn't really appeal is CGI, because it just doesn't look real. And when it doesn't look real, for me, I kind of... it loses the imagination. Like, yeah, it's just not very good. And I know people say, what? But it's imagination, so surely you don't want it looking real because you use your imagination to fall into the world. Yeah, if you're reading a book, but if you're watching a movie, it's having the scene is really important, and setting that scene correctly so that, you know, you can fall in love with the place you're watching is really important. See, I think it's super important. Apart from, you know, stuff that you would never be able to film, or maybe CGI, but, you know. What was I going to say? Witcher. That was a really good series. Anyone see the Witcher series? Pibsy, how far have you delved into 40k? In what sense, Pibsy? In playing the game, or reading the books, or the lore, or what is it you're talking about? So just in case you missed it earlier, I do play 40k. Have played 40k. I painted models very, very young, about the age of 12. That's when I first started painting models. I got some off a friend, a very kind friend of mine, gave me some models because I couldn't afford them at the time. And he gave me some models, and he would just give me old models and I'd paint them. Or he'd buy like a box set of 40k or other Blood Bowl box sets or whatnot, and I would paint them. So he would, like, the box sets that you get is, I don't know, he'd buy like the Blood Bowl box set, which is a sub game of Warhammer where they play American football essentially, or Warhammer, which was like a medieval skirmish game. Mordheim. Mordheim was a medieval skirmish game, and he would get, generally in the box sets you get two factions, or two groups, two armies. So my mate would always allow me to play, because I was always keen to play. He would allow me to have one of the armies. By the way, I'm just gluing the arm back on, and now I've edited it. So you're saying, just generally heard you mention it briefly. Sorry, I feel like you said, nah, don't worry, man. Don't worry at all. It's all about the interaction with you guys. I don't really care if I just put in an agenda to something to talk about every week. So don't stress. Not at all. I'd prefer to chat to you guys. So 40k. Yeah, as I said, started when I was 12. Got into it through my buddy, who would allow me to paint one of the halves of the box set with him, and then we'd play the games together. I didn't play much of the games, as in I didn't play 40k or Warhammer Fantasy or Old World or whatever you want to call it. I didn't play any of those in full, ever, as a kid. I played Mordheim and I played Blood Bowl because they were short, and because I never had the figures or the armies, I never played them, so I never had the opportunity to. Watched from afar because some of the geeks in the school would play. At the time, as a kid, being 12, I was like, I didn't really want to play Warhammer for worry of ridicule, really. And even though I look back at it now and regret it because I could have played it, I also think, well, what I did do, although I didn't play it, I defended the geeks. So when you had like the bullies trying to bully the geeks for playing either Magic the Gathering, which I did play actually. I did have some Magic cards. Whether they played them from Magic the Gathering or Warhammer or whatever it was, Dungeons and Dragons wasn't that big at my school at the time. So, but I would defend the geeks and I would look after the geeks. If they were getting bullied, I'd sort the bullies out and be the paladin of the group and help them out. So yeah, and it wasn't till lockdown that I started reapplying my skills in painting and just enjoying painting again, and having some peaceful sort of things to do rather than sitting on my arse doing nothing, right? So I was like, great, I'll paint again. So I started painting. My dad actually found an old box of Warhammer that I had as a kid, and he showed me, and I've got the box now, and I've got one of the models, two of the models actually over there on the side. I'll bring them over in a minute and show you. That was quite cool to see those again, and I've got a load in a box down here somewhere of models that I painted as a child, that was cool to get those back and see them, and then it kind of inspired me to continue to paint through COVID, and just start to grab various different figures and start painting them just for the fun. I'd never played 40k until this year, and I'm on about my 5th game or something like that. So I've only played 5 games of 40k. I have read some books. So I've had a couple of audio books. By the way, I'm just painting the orc's face, just undercoating it. So I've read some audio books. I've read. God, check me out. I haven't read anything. Well, I have. I've read one book. One Horus Heresy book that I've read. And the rest have all been audio books. Some 40k audio books, which are pretty cool. I don't really read much because I'm really slow. My reading skill is... it's fine, I can read, don't get me wrong. I'm not a complete fool. But my reading is really slow, which kind of puts me off reading half the time. But I do enjoy it if it's a good book. I have just finished the first Horus Heresy book, which is the sort of start of it's actually in the 30k era, but it's the start of the 40k era. So I have read that. I had played Space Marine 1, the video game, on the PlayStation 3 many moons ago. Played that. Actually, I played that. First time I played that was when I was deployed in Afghanistan. I came back to camp, and they had a welfare tent there. And on the PlayStation 3, they had 2 games I loved, which was Space Marine and Call of Duty Zombies, which I played with my buddy. Me and my buddy played that game all the time. So that was very cool. So yeah, that was kind of Warhammer. Yeah, that's where I am. So now though, I'm a big nerd anyway. So I bought loads of books. One thing my friends will say about it, I like collecting stuff. And so I've got a few books now. I've got an Eldari army. I've got a Sisters of Battle army. And I've got a Space Marine army as well. The Space Marines, really because they were the poster boys and they were just what I bought from various packets when I just started painting the models. So I'd like paint this Space Marine model, paint that Space Marine model. And then the Sisters of Battle, when I decided I wanted to play the game, I was like, right, what army do I want? And I did my first ever game, I did play as Space Marines. I just didn't feel it. As much as I think some of their figures are cool, I didn't feel it. So I was like, right, what's my army? And I looked at them all and I was like, Sisters of Battle, they're cool as heck. Got a load of Sisters of Battle figures, started painting them up. As you can see, I've got some here actually that you'll see. So these are still work in progress. You can see the stand is painted and the backpack and bit of the red is done as well. So I've got some Seraphim there. And I've got some tanks and some other bits and bobs. And then, because I really enjoy it, and I just love models, full stop, I bought a load of Eldari. So second-hand Eldari, some of it painted, some of it not. Just because I thought they were cool figures. And some stuff you can find on like Vinted or eBay or something like that. And the price is so cheap. I'm like, oh, I can't just help. I just can't help but buy them because they're just freaking cool. So yeah, so I did get those as well. So yeah, I am a plastic crack addict. So yeah, I buy lots of models, and that's what I spend my money on. I don't drink, don't smoke. That's it. That's all I do really. Paint models and just enjoy life. Sister Battle are cool, and the Miracle Dice system is sick. Yes, Miracle Dice are awesome. So if those of you who don't play Warhammer don't know, Sister Battle have a very cool ability where you can get these things called Miracle Dice. Now, Miracle Dice allow you to do cool and funky abilities. I'm going to cut the back of this off actually because we don't need the back of this model, and it's only going to stop him from lying down flat, so we're actually going to take that off. Yeah, so Sister Battle have Miracle Dice. Miracle Dice are really cool because they allow you to do some really funky things. So they're basically like special abilities, and certain characters in your army will allow you to either gain Miracle Dice or use Miracle Dice in a certain way, and it just helps you win the battle. But yeah, Sisters, that's why I like them, but they're very difficult, what I found. For someone like me that's never played before, they're a very difficult army to get a lot of knowledge on. So if you're, new to the system, it's quite a difficult army to get into, just because there are a lot of rules. Right, let's looking at this model here. So I'm just sort of trying to duck down and see where he fits. I just need to shave a little bit more off this back. So again, with your kit bashing, you'll end up doing a lot of this sort of stuff where you're cutting models and you think you're going to lose bits and do this and do that, but it's okay. Don't worry. Don't panic. But yeah, I'm just going to cut this little bit off here. Yeah, so Miracle Dice are very cool. They help your Sisters of Battle win the day, which it's all about. This bit is really difficult to get off. I'm just trying to sort of take the back of this guy off and make it a bit flatter, but without completely decimating this little mini. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to do than what it looks, especially when I've just glued an arm on. What I shouldn't have done is glued the arm on. So right now I'm just using this little blade just to push down and cut some of the back off. There we go, got that bit off at least. Yeah, so all the armies have cool little abilities. Ironically, Eldari have Fate Dice. So rather than Miracle Dice, they have a thing called Fate Dice. They work in a similar kind of way, but you only get a certain amount that you get allocated at the start of the battle. But still very cool. So Pibsy, do you play Warhammer yourself? Let me know. Drop it in the chat. How's everyone else doing anyway? Everyone else all keeping all right? Coming up to the end of the stream almost, guys. Almost there. Crikey. Some days when I do this stream, I sit there chatting away and chatting away. You don't realise how bloody fast time goes. Again, I guess it's the same old saying, isn't it? Time goes fast when you're having fun. Just about a call, so it's a little complicated. Yeah, it is complicated, dude. But it's still awesome. Right, I reckon him there is about right. So let's get some gluing going. So let's slap a load of glue all over the back here, because we want him to stick down well. Putting it all over. And let's find a little place for him on here. Oh, darn it. Did I just... No, that's all right. That's good. Right, move that there. And bring him in. And we're going to place him there. Is that good? Right, that's good there. Right. Okay, we've got some orcs' heads. So we can just glue these anywhere, so that's not a drama. So it's just wang a load of glue on the back of these. Stick a load of glue here. I found sometimes when you're placing little bits like this, it's not a bad idea just to stick some glue in advance. Just stick a load down, because you can paint over it anyway. There we go. Stick his head there just to give it an orky feel. We've got another one to go over this side. I reckon he can go. What do you reckon? I reckon he can go on this. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing actually. Sorry guys. I haven't got it in shot. So this edge here. So just slather the glue on that. Slather the glue on the back of the head. And then stick him on there. There we go. Right, so let's use our phone cam. Choo! So here we go. There's the base. So you've got head number 1 is here. Head number 2 is over here. Just under my scalpel. Then you've got the body. Oh, the body there. He's just sort of resting his feet. You can't quite see, but resting his foot on a skull underneath, which is quite cool. That arm is kind of stuck by the knife. I should have probably cut that off. But, you know, don't worry. Don't panic. Not a problem. It's still cool. Like we say, the tank will come in and it will sit across with that bloody back. Tell you what, the backs on these rhinos just drop down all the time. That tank will sit across there once all that's dry. So we will see how that works. But that will probably be next week. Because it's the end of the stream, guys. It's 2 minutes to 9. 2 minutes to 9. Yeah, it does look gnarly. It looks really cool. So we've got this sick base, which is here, which is looking pretty cool. And we have our sick tank, which is coming along. It's got, oh God, you can never, why do I always get these muddled? There you go. So you can see the sick tank with these crazy arms attached to it and a crazy sword, chain sword, sorry. So that side, gunner at the rear now, she's sorted. I'm really looking forward to next stream, because by that point I should have my mini sorted and printed, Steve Minis-N-Muscles mini for this tank, and I will have the stained glass window. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that, because it will make it look really Sisters of Battle-y. The only other thing I haven't thought about too much is how we're going to attach the flamers. So these little flamers that we've got. In fact, sod it, we'll go on for a little bit longer. So how we're going to attach these little flamers. So currently they're going to sit on here like this, like dual mounted next to each other. So that's kind of how they're going to sit. I did keep part of the mechanics for them, but so these little brackets actually go into the edge here and hold them on. But you see, it just takes up too much space. Now, because we're going to put the hunter-killer missile on, and I do want that hunter-killer missile, because although it's a one-time use in the game, it just looks cool as hell. But if you see here, look, the flamers take up the whole front. That's not so good. Let's go to phone cam just to show you. Choo! So that's how the flamers would be on the front. That's if we use these grey centerpieces. Put one behind each smoke dispenser. Could do. So let's try that. Let's try Beard Veterans recommendation. Don't know. Let's try that one. Yeah, we could cut them down a bit. I'd have to move this sword this side. But that could sit there. So you've got them like that, either side. So that's kind of your look from the front. Then if we get the hunter-killer... oh, crikey, it's a bit jammed on that side, isn't it? There you go. It's a bit tight. See, if I'd have thought about that, I could have put that there, And I could have put that there. Like that. You see? But I filled that darn hole, didn't I? What a muppet, because that would have been quite cool like that. Yeah. If you take the grey and horizontal armour off, they would stand on the first bit. Yeah, I completely can. I was just saying I kept them just in case, but that they seem to be too wide. So let's just take those off. Sorry, you're getting a really bad camera view there, guys. Sorry. So like that. Is that what you mean? Still got the issue with that hunter-killer missile. Oh, it just fits next to the hunter-killer. So there you go. It just fits. Literally just fits. So that's how it would look. Like that. Does that look too silly though? Because it looks right next to it. I wish that was opposite mounted, that hunter-killer. Then it would be fine. Because I can't dig that out. It would make an absolute mess if I dug that out. I can move this though. That's absolutely fine. I can move this and then that one can sit there absolutely fine. Not a problem. Yeah, so that can move and be shifted down. That's absolutely easy done. Yeah, maybe we go for it. Don't know if I can swap this over. I don't think these are particularly swappable. I do have another one of these. I do have another rhino somewhere. Hold on 2 seconds. There's a good thought there, guys. Good thought. Ugh. We've got another rhino. So I do have... all right, I told you I'm the collector, right? So here's another rhino I've got. Let's see. Oh, that's mounted the same way. No! Darn it. That is a shame. Okay. Never mind. Okay, can't do that then. Can't do that. Alright. What we're saying in chat anyway. Put one behind Spencer. If you take the grey and horizontal... Oh yeah, we read that. Horizontal. Yeah, okay. No worries. Well, you know, there's plenty to think about. And that can all be done next week. So we're getting closer and closer as we sort of start this crazy journey, and I'm hoping that the extra bits arrive because that's so cool. An extra mini, which is me. I'm really excited for that, and the stained glass window, because if I go back to phone cam, what is going to be cool, right? Is you're going to have. Let's just prop that up like that. There we go. Right, so let's get my pointer. So here we're going to have, we've got the flamer here, we've got a flamer here, we're going to have hunter-killer missile in here, got our gunner at the back. This is where 15.Minis-N-Muscles is going to stand. You're going to have across the back here, or possibly I might have to remove this section, the stained glass window. That's going to be super cool. We've then got a load of other little things. We've got things like that, little magazine box that's going to go over by the gunner. We've got things like this little sort of relic. Oh, there you go, a little relic like that. I don't know where that's going to go yet, but that's going to go somewhere, possibly next to Minis-N-Muscles Steve. We've also got this little candle set. That little candle set's going to go somewhere. We have this flag to go somewhere, Sisters of Battle flag. That's really important. I've got the, look at these little relic-y type things that I've managed to cut out. This little chalice. That's cool. There is this little Sisters of Battle little like flamer box. I did cut this guy out of a Space Marine set that I got, this skeleton figure. There is some more ammo, so more ammo link to go over with this gunner. So I was actually going to attach the... Oh god, my camera is so bad. Sorry guys. So I was going to attach the ammo belt to the dual bolter that she's got. So that was going to go over there. Then what we got here? So we've got a couple of very teeny tiny items. Teeny tiny. You've got is that binoculars? I think you've got, and a couple of other sort of small relics. You've got a little pouch, and you've got a set of binos there as well. So yeah, so there's a couple of little things to add in to our tank. That is how it looks at the moment, though. I do think it looks pretty beefy with those crazy arms on the front. It looks like a crab, doesn't it? That's what I think. It looks like a crab or something. So I'm quite excited for that. Anyway, let's change back to main camera. I suppose we best really call it a wrap because it's 6 minutes past. I've chatted over as usual because I chat for days. It has been an absolute pleasure spending my Friday evening with you guys. We've had some new people jump on. We had about 8 or 9 people watching at one point. That was pretty cool. We don't always have that many here at Minis-N-Muscles, so I'm glad to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. As I say, don't do this for money. Don't do this for any other reason than just to create a cool community, have a laugh with people, and just enjoy Friday night. Enjoy the geeky world of hobbying and models and just geek talk in general. So thank you for coming along. We sort of covered off our tank. We spoke about Warhammer games that I've played. We spoke about D&D that I played this week, just to give you an update of what's been going on in my world. We covered off some chat around fantasy movies. Yeah, Pipsy, don't worry. I don't mind stopping the chat, the main agenda chat, to have conversations with you guys. Conversation with you guys is far more interesting. So just fill the chat with rubbish and nonsense. I do not mind one bit. So please, please, please keep engaging. On that engagement point, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you turn on the notification bell and tell a friend. Come on, let's get this channel to 100 subscribers. Come on, let's get the channel to 100 subscribers. That will be pretty darn cool. We'll do something awesome as well. If we get to 100 subscribers, we'll do something awesome. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. And I don't want to say something because it's YouTube and it's live. But I don't want to commit myself to something. But we'll do something awesome for 100 subscribers because that would be good. Also, share it with a friend. Just tell your friends to jump on. They don't have to like everything that I do, and they don't have to sit there and listen to my drivel every week, but it supports something that you guys love, so it helps build our community, and that's the main thing, right? So, what else did we chat about today? We chatted about gym clothing, my bugbear, my bugbear, whether it's Crocs. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to put this out there right at the end of the show. Who's ever seen people wearing their watch round their ankle? Have you ever seen people wear the watch round their ankle? What's that? Watch round their ankle whilst in the gym. Don't get it. Anyway, but yeah, we spoke about crazy things that people wear in the gym and my old man views on that. We obviously wrapped up on our tank and how that conversion's going, which is coming along very nicely. And get ready for the delivery of the Steve Minis-N-Muscles miniature. That is going to be awesome to paint. I cannot wait. That's going to be mega. Anyway, before I talk even more and lose my voice and lose my audience, thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure. Happy Friday to every single one of you that is watching either now, live with me, or that you're watching on catch up. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Like it, like it, like it. I will see you all very soon. Enjoy your weekend. Have an absolute awesome time. Thank you. See you soon.